Hello there YouTube, I am Wheelchair21 and on today's rolling review we are looking at the Bandai Super Mini-Pla set Ninja Gattai Muteki Shogun from Ninja Sentai Kaku Ranger, which is the 1994 Super Sentai series adapted into Power Rangers Season 3 / Power Rangers Season 3.5 Alien Rangers. Now, as one can see, the basic Super Mini-Pla box, the exterior to all 5 individual pieces, is in a black and white box that features Muteki Shogun, the Kaku Rangers, each 5 of the Ninja Generals. From left to right, we have Genma, Logan, Saruda, Kark, and, if I recall, it is Kuma. And then on the side, we have the Kaku Rangers. On the back, we have additional angles and styles of the 5 pieces, our Sentai team, and the actual Mini-Pla yet again. The actual Ninja Gattai on the side. And on your bottom, or no, I shouldn't say bottom, on your top, is kind of like a full-on profile view of your mecha. Whereas the interior features a box that is reminiscent of the original Deluxe Muteki Shogun box. Now, since it is supposed to be reminiscent of the original box, the layout actually features the Mini-Pla almost in every pattern, promotional artwork, and design like its old school box. However, like I said, it's all just decked out with your Mini-Pla rather than your Deluxe Mecha or your actual suit in show. The sides of the box promote the actual individual weapons for each of your 5 general beasts. And you also have more of the overly reused promotional art seen on the exterior case for all 5 pieces. The only changes to each of the box is the color and number telling you which one is which. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So obviously 2 is white, 3 is yellow, 4 is blue, and 5 is black. And that's practically it for your box before you actually open them up and begin assembly. And now we have our Ninja Beast Generals fully built and assembled for the Super Mini-Pla Ninja Gattai Muteki Shogun. In their 5 individual forms, they actually look really reminiscent of the actual suits, as well as the original deluxe toys from the early 90s. Now, one thing that does stand out about these figures are the fact that they're roughly around the same height or just a little shorter than an average Soto figure. As you can see, they're around 3.75 inch, when the normal Soto figure, even with a stage, is about 4 inches to 4.25 inches tall. Not twall, but tall. And honestly, while they do look smaller than some might have expected, when they eventually build Muteki Shogun, they become one hefty castle warlord. So, from left to right, we have Genma, Logan, Saruda, Kark, and Kumard, who I think I accidentally just called Kuma earlier in the review when showing off the actual box. To start off, let's look at our main torso, Saruda. Now, Saruda was pretty much, Sasuke's Ninja Beast, and it's a really beautiful and elegant giant bulky mold with weird, I guess I would like to say hoof-like shoes or feet. One can see that the stickers here were not well done. Like, when I tried to put them on, they just crinkled, they creased, they didn't want to go around this entire thing and kind of tore and just got all messed up. Things can't be perfect, in life, so I just dealt with it. Ironically enough, my original Deluxe Shogun Megazord has the same mistakes I made even as like a toddler or young tyke. But overall, like I said, you can't really manage when, things just don't want to go your way. We have a bit of knee articulation inside, as well as we will have an overarching swivel to recall the actual legs to form your thighs for Muteki Shogun. The skirt itself has a little bit of articulation to it on swivel joints, as well as the hinge here to reveal our awesome ninja logo, or our Muteki Shogun logo. And overall, just really nice features. Some are heavily automatically painted in, and others are just gaudy little stickers that crease and crinkle when you apply them to the spheric, cylinder-esque like surfaces. So it's not that great, and I don't overly enjoy it, but like I said, I'm really loving the little bit of articulation, or a lot of articulation, added that the original toys just couldn't have. If one was to put this into a goddamn Soul of Chogokin, you'd have my goddamn money, because there are bicep swivels, there are freaking elbow joints, and there are also wrist swivels that are so minute that you may or may not actually notice them. And that's one thing that is really elegant about the overall mold for Tsuruder. And the back is pretty bare ass naked when it comes to details, similar to the original DX toy. As well as one can see that the crane for Muteki Shogun is stored inside the interior torso, like the original toy. And a close-up of the head will show that it's a mix of being painted and it's a mix of being stickered. It's a little blurry due to the fact that my camera does not autofocus, and whenever I do autofocus it, it screws up the entire review. But nevertheless, though, it's a mixture of painting and stickers. Honestly, it's one of those things where I don't entirely enjoy that element of the overall product. Next up, we're going to look at the arms, and first I'm going to start with the right arm, Blue Logan. So, one thing I really do love about Logan is the fact that it is a nice, elegant little wolf head. I really like its, lupine-esque design. It's really nice, it's really adorable, and really cute, especially in this Super Mini-Pla form. I've always liked the blue Shogun Megazord or blue Lupin, mostly due to the fact it's just a really nice, sleek design. And as a Super Mini-Pla, it has knee articulation, which doubles also as like an elbow hinge joint. There's also the actual elbow from Muteki Shogun, giving it like a pseudo dropkick-esque like appearance, which is kind of cool. And you can also do weird, stupid stuff like, hey, look at me, I'm just relaxing here, yada, yada, yada. So I do like how being an arm gives it an added point of articulation that's not necessarily great or strong at the same time, since it likes to pop off the waist from the upper torso, but I overly enjoy it. The feet, since they have to like fold up to be the forearm guard, they do tend to actually pop off the entire joint, but it's not really a huge fault in the design, not so much. I think if this does get a Soul of Chogokin, it'll be a little bit stronger and have possibly like a flap inside that will hold it so it's not as open and airish and, hollow when you look at it from this angle. So I think if there ever was to be one, it would probably close it off nice and smoothly. You have the arms that fold up inside, like you see here. It's hollow. I think if this was a Soul of Chogokin, or if there is a Soul of Chogokin, there'll be something to cover up the, hollowness of the overall torso. And just really nice, really good. I really like a lot of the features and just design whatsoever. Whereas Kark being pretty much a mold copy or reuse of the mold, the only visual difference is the core piece of the torso being square to a like arrow-shaped frickin' boomerang-like design. I don't really know what you would really call it. It's, like I said, very pyramid-like, but it's curved like a boomerang a bit. Has the same point of articulation. One thing I forgot to mention about Logan is I really do love the nice kind of marigold painted fish logos for the symbols on the shoulders. I overlooked that drastically. I should not have done that. But I do love the fact that, god dang it, for Tsuruhime's white Kark, it looks really elegant and really great, and I'm glad to finally have a, Shogun Megazord that's screen accurate due to the Muteki Shogun footage, whereas the American version, for the toy, they painted it in pink. And while it does look nice in pink, I do like the natural white a whole lot more for its shit screen accuracy. And I think that how they've designed it and tooled it, it doesn't require any stickers on the head, which is a good thing. It's all painted in. And whatever use of stickers you do need to use on it helps highlight its features more predominantly than some of the others in the actual wave itself. Finally, we move to the feet, which honestly don't have that much articulation to their overall designs. These are quite hindered compared to their brethren, Logan, Kark, and Tsuruder. Ganma, or Gamur, and Kumard, they actually feature no knee articulation, really. Like, they kind of have a bit of a knee due to how the joints work to form the feet of Muteki Shogun, but overall, they're not as I guess, prevalent than Tsuruder, Kark, or Logan. They still maintain the actual basic wrist swivel that most of them have, as well as the elbow joint and bicep swivel that Tsuruder has. Like, this is an amalgamation of a little bit of, all the previous versions, but they're just lacking knee articulation due to the engineering to form Muteki Shogun. Honestly, though, they still look really nice. They're still some of my favorite mechas thus far. I really do like Genmers, like I like Logan's, because I just, for some reason, like the design. It doesn't help, though, when you watch Kaku Ranger, it's Kenkosogi, so that's a little added bonus, Ninja Jiraiya. And, honestly, they don't have a hip swivel, or I should say a waist swivel, because of how the overall engineering is to form the overall boot, so it doesn't really add too much to either version of the mecha. Honestly, I do feel like these are the lackluster ones, but still have vast improvements than their deluxe mechas, due to the fact of the nicer metallic paint schemes, some of the cool metallic stickering, and the fact that we at least have freaking arm articulation, or should I say articulated arms. Honestly, I do love it, and I really do love the nice detailed faces that, are nice and metallic painted in, and do sometimes require stickering. Honestly, though, I would have liked if they could have just painted in the entire head, and did not require the consumer to actually sticker them. I could understand having to sticker, the torsos, or the actual guard belt skirts, but the face 100% should have been painted in, and their actual bands painted all the way around. Annoys the hell out of me. An added bonus to the Super Mini-Pla release is the fact that they come with their individual weapons. First off, we have Tsuruda's Red Slicer, or the Tsuruda Slicer, which is a huge kind of like shuriken weapon that also doubles as a shield in the show. It's nice, it's cool, I like it. We also have Logan's freaking Logan Shaft, which is really nice, really cool, and honestly could have used a bit of paint or stickers, but it's just nice to have. It's a lot more durable, I think, than the original toy, which was a more rubbery, flimsy plastic. So it's nicer to have and will actually not break or just tear upon touching it or slightly bending it. But it could still break no matter what, due to the fact it is just basic plastic. White Kark has her Kark Beaks, which are twin little fork lances that, are held by the hand. They're kind of like sais, but they're forkish and they're weird. Honestly, I don't really know what to say about these weapons, because I don't really see how useful they really were, due to the fact that really their sharp sides are, I think, inside the weapon, and they pierce rather interestingly. I mean, they might be an effective weapon in real life, but I've never seen how they virtually could be of really any use. Then there is the Kumard Claw, which actually is a really interesting weapon, because it's a claw on a chain, but because of how it works, there's not a real chain. The chain link is just a solid piece of plastic. It's all dulled out gray, and has a hand already pre-molded to be used with the left hand to hold the grip, so it doesn't get away from the actual user. Now, because it is a, solid gray piece and the hand is dulled, I would have expected maybe like a yellow sticker to go on the interior side, or would have just liked if there would have been a way for it to just naturally hook into the hand rather than looking like this. It just kind of is a little offsetting, especially since the actual prop on show was a mix of gray and yellow. So it's like either they could have painted it, or they could have just done a little something to make it stand out a whole lot better. And the same almost I would have thought would have gone with Black's. However, his actual Genma bow does come with a little area to put an additional hand to hold his bow and arrow like an actual natural archer, as well as there is a small little piece here that will allow it to connect to the shield to form the weird deluxe toy intermediate like kind of weapon and design. Then we finally come to the big daddy of them all when it comes to accessories for this Mini-Pla set, which is the Blazing Sword. One of the things I love about the Blazing Shogun Sword is the fact that, for some reason, it's a weird barracuda-like fish shooting fire from its mouth. One thing I do like is a lot of the engraving and the actual design of the flame inside the actual saber itself. and the actual, like, plating of the fish and the symbols within the hilt. This is probably one of the nicest accessories I've seen for a model kit, as well as a toy, in recent years. I kind of do wish, though, it came with a just unbladed hilt that also came with, like, an actual attachment to put, like, an actual beam effect of fire coming out of the mouth to make it look like the finishing attack. Like, I would have liked if there was two versions, one which is the basic sword and one which also featured the blazing strike. But I am just glad to have it, and glad that it's not a dull plastic, but a beautiful, beautiful golden chrome. And we'll get to Muteki Shogun very shortly, because we gotta at least see what the weapons look like being held by our ninja generals. Now, when holding the weapons, it does drastically complement the individual figure. It's an accessory that some might not care for or like to have, due to the fact that it leaves over extra parts off on the side when done and built your Muteki Shogun. But I do like the fact that it is a feature that you can have to display the parts if you choose to have them individually, or just throw them to the side when you put them together as Muteki Shogun, because I just like the fact that nothing has been skipped from this set that would make actually needing to have the original more important. I like the fact that a lot of detail was delicately put into a model kit. However, like I keep saying in this review, if a Soul Chogokin happens, I'm going to be even more ecstatic and more depressed, because it's going to drastically kill my wallet. Now, to transform it into Muteki Shogun from this stage and forward, most of the parts actually transform like they do like the deluxe toy. You just fold up parts, turn them around, yada yada yada, and you make your Muteki Shogun. Now here we have Super Mini-Pla Muteki Shogun fully assembled. It is one cumbersome bastard, because it's based off of what I think is the concept art and the original idea of having Muteki Shogun just be one huge, big, castle-like mecha, whereas the suit on screen in the show was probably scaled down due to the actor being unable to probably function the actual mobility of himself within the suit. Because, I mean, when you look in the show, one, the actual ninja generals are hard to actually use, as well as Muteki Shogun himself is hard to use. And the overall design doesn't transition well to probably a well-articulated form, unless it would be just a base figure art, or a base robot Chogokin, or a robot Damashi, or what have you. Because as a Super Mini-Pla, the shoulders are very awkward. It has these weird extensions that may look just really weird, depending on how you look at it straight on. But when you angle it a little bit, it does look nice from the front and from the back. However, if you were to move it too far, it does get rather gaudy, where it's more of an way of looking at it on an angle. It's very, just obscure. It's really a perspective of which way you want to look at it to make it look alright. And that's one of the biggest flaws about looking at it for the elbows. The elbows, you would want to hope or wish that the actual interior kind of hit itself more in the actual waist a bit, where there'd be like more of a curvature of the joint here, so at least look like one solid part. But it's not. It's kind of just one hinge, and it doesn't look drastically nice. You got to kind of make it like angled and kind of cheat the system, similar to the crazy freaking shoulder. And honestly, I'm not a big fan of that, even though, like I said, it does look overly nice. The actual waist joint is still there, so at least gives a little bit of an added feature to pose the character and make them look all pretty. But with the knees, they're the worst thing. I mean, these things just look god-awful. They don't even look like actual real knees. And that's kind of one of the biggest problems that a Mini-Pla may have, whether you're in your regular versions that you get at retail or the special Super Mini-Pla kits. Whereas the ankles are awkward just because of how they're designed. It's literally, you pull up one of the sides of the legs and you have an ankle joint, and you remove the actual legs from the actual sockets. So, honestly, when it comes to articulation, it's kind of a mess, but if you keep it very stoic and static, it's a nice freaking figure. Right now, it's roughly about the same height as Super Mini-Pla Live Robo. Its face comes down more to about the chin or to the upper area of the lion. But overall, it's a pretty solid figure. It's probably a little shorter than it should be, but it's not that big of a deal. I do enjoy it, and I do really like it. And because I love, well, I guess I would say I mostly just love it for Kaku Rangers purposes, because I wasn't really a big fan of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 3. I just really loved the Megazord footage the most out of that season. It's really part of my odd nostalgia of where I liked it from MMPR. I've automatically loved it because I've enjoyed Kaku Ranger, that I think people will want to have it, whether they are a Sentai purist or a Power Rangers purist. It's one of those things where it's just the aesthetic, the design, it's overly nice, and if you don't have a Deluxe Muteki Shogun or have the original Deluxe Shogun Megazord, you'll want to go out and get this. However, like I've been saying in the review, if they make a Soul of Chogokin one, it's going to be probably expensive and crazy and a must-have for any Sentai/Ranger fan. To get the Super Mini-Pla right now, it is roughly around $50 to $70. It is a retail model kit, but because of importing or distribution-wise, it does seem highly expensive for it being such a small height. It's to the extent some people are actually, really discouraged for that fact, even though it's a nice build, it's a nice figure, it just doesn't meet a lot of, I guess, casual fans' expectations. But there is the fact that Kakure Dai Shogun and Tsubasa Maru are coming soon. Well, they're technically already out in Japan, however, I couldn't go through a direct source or middleman to get them from P Bandai, so I had to go through, technically, Big Bad Toy Stores, Bluefin/Bandai distribution, which can be questionable on date of arrival. So I don't even know when or if it'll ever arrive, which has me highly discouraged. But if it does arrive, I'll be drastically happy to have both mechas on display in Super Mini-Pla form, and to pal around with my old Power Rangers villain action figures. Nevertheless, I'm Wheelchair21, and if you've enjoyed this review, and if you enjoy Kaku Ranger or the Shogun Megazord, please leave a like and comment, and subscribe to my channel if you already haven't, as well as follow me on social media, and check out the website I work for and founded, HeroClub.com.